Hey, how's it going guys? Welcome back to Blackline Toy Reviews. My name is Josh and today we're going to be looking at Iron Factory's version of Helex, which they've called Alkaid. If you don't know anything about this guy, he is a member of the DJD from the IDW comics, which I have started reading. I haven't got as far as meeting these guys yet, but as far as I know, he's a member of, as I say, the DJD, which is 5 Transformers that are Megatron's enforcers, and they go around assassinating and torturing different Transformers that Megatron doesn't like for some reason. That is my understanding. If I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments below. But let's have a quick look at the box before we take a look at the figure. So you can see they've called the DJD the Spirits of the DEC here. He is IF EX-34 Alkaid, and we've got Iron Factory's logo up there and a 3D render, I guess, or a product shot on the front there. Quick shot of the figure there, and IF EX-34. Some product shots again on the back. I think these are photos. And then another product shot on the side there, and the clamshell inside. This is all collector friendly, so it opens up. You can take them out, put back in again if you wish. It comes with instructions, and it comes with a few accessories that we'll have a look at later. But first of all, we'll have a look at this paint and sculpt on this guy. So as you can see, he's mostly this sort of dark blue, which I really like. I'm a big fan of this colour. So there's 2 different shades of blue here, slightly lighter, more royal blue here, and a slightly navy blue there, I guess. There's some pink accents, which I assume are supposed to be lights, I would guess. Some silver bits on the toes and on the legs, and a sort of really light grey or off-white, I guess, on the legs. Some black parts on the guns here and on the shoulders, and then again some sort of gunmetal grey silver for the treads here, tracks. Some black bits on the arms. And also we'll see in a minute the alternate hands inside the forearms are black. Some yellow parts are sort of dirty yellow, I guess. Not quite a mustard, too light to be a mustard. Maybe it's supposed to be goldish. Doesn't really look very gold, but we've got some cool details on the back here. Some sculpted tracks. A few tabs here for transformation. You obviously notice there's he's got 4 arms, so he's got these larger arms here and then the 2 smaller arms here. A transparent blue cockpit on the front there. Silver on the spikes. And that face sculpt, he's looking pretty mean. So yeah, that is Helex. I'm pretty pleased with how he looks. He's really chunky, and we'll see in a minute he's a lot bigger than the other members. I believe that the final figure to come out for the combiner, this guy combines with the other 4 members to form what I assume is a larger version of Tarn. But anyway, this is the largest of the 4 figures so far, and Tesserus, who's the 5th member, is pretty big as well. I think they're going to be around the same sort of size. But yeah, I really like him. Like I say, I haven't read the comics, so I'm not too sure how accurate it is to that. But he does look really cool. Okay, we're going to do a rundown of the articulation now. So, starting from the top, his head can swivel. It can go up on this joint here, but that's more for transformation. It does go back a little bit and down a little bit, as you can see there. The shoulder joints, we've got this joint here, and they're really stiff, as is a lot of the joints on this figure. But this joint here does rotate independently there. And then this folds up, opens up. There we go. And the shoulders will come up to like there. There is a swivel at the bicep there that goes all the way around. He is a robot, so I guess that's relevant, because you might want to do that. He has a... oh, and the arm has popped off. I should say, I'll let you know that that does happen. every now and then. The whole thing comes apart for combined mode into lots and lots of different pieces. We're going to pop that back on quickly. So it comes apart here, but it also comes apart here as well, and in lots of other places. So just above 90 degrees there. And there is swivel at the wrist there, and all of these digits, there's 3 of them on this hand. There's ball joint at the base there, and then a couple of hinges on each finger, and they also, because of that ball joint, they also spread apart. Now there is a secondary hand, a larger hand with 5 fingers that's inside the arm here, but we'll have a look at that later. And there is a joint here that comes down for transformation, which you could use if you wanted to. I couldn't see a use for it, but maybe you want to. There is a swivel at the waist, and if you take this backpack off, again it does pop off, it will swivel all the way around. The hips go all the way out to the side and just a little bit further perhaps, if you move that arm out of the way. No, just about horizontal. There is a rotation ball joint, I believe. Oh no, it's do they call that universal? Not sure. Anyway, it swivels there and it hinges there. Swivel at the top of the thigh there. There is a joint at the knee, which gets you to about 90 degrees. And then the toe goes down, or the foot, sorry, goes down and up. So you get lots and lots of movement, and the toe moves as well. And then this heel can click open to come down like that. And then these smaller arms here are on a ball joint at the top, so you can twist it right the way around to go up, or round again to go down, and again it sort of swings right the way around like that. And then again a hinge and a ball joint in there at the elbow, so he gets just over, well, nearly a full range. There you can see, and of course that swivels around on its own again. And then swivel at the wrist all the way around. We're going to have a look at this arm. I've just popped off to make it easier to show you. But like as I said, inside here there is a secondary arm that I think is more for combined mode. However, I've used it in his standard mode, and you'll see why it's pretty cool. So in order to pop it out, we just need to fold the fingers up here, so the thumb goes in, and then the fingers roll up as tight as they can go, like that. Both of them. And then it's quite tricky to get your nail in. Get that finger out, and then I can pull that out there. There we go. And as you can see, now he has 5 fingers, and it's a slightly bigger hand. So again, let's just close this up so that just folds in and then pops in. Need to make sure this is pulled out a little bit, and sort of make sure that tab there goes into the slot just inside. So you sort of need to push the wrist back in on itself as you snap it shut. So there we go, we have our 5-finger hand, and again it's the same articulation, so you've got a ball joint at the base of each of the digits and then 2 hinges in there so they can fully extend to straight, and that's as far as they go. Or you can curl them up entirely, as you can see, to make a fist. And as you can see, because of that ball joint, all of the fingers do spread wide, just like that. And again, this is, I believe, mainly for the combined mode. However, I think it looks pretty cool. If you wanted to use it, you could in his standard mode. It actually works really well for grabbing onto other figures. I had him picking up Hound here, holding him up above his head, and that works really, really well. Okay, let's check out the transformation on this guy. And there's a few steps involved, but as with all Iron Factory figures, it's not too complicated. So let's go ahead and get that done. First thing I do, what you will need to do, is to make sure these arms are all straight. And I go ahead and straighten, close up the fingers on both of these arms, and then straighten them up. With the smaller arms, it's best to either pop off the hands like I've done here, or you can use the extra hands that come with it, which I'll show you later, which are the fist hands and the gripping hands. They're just a little bit shorter and they don't get in the way. And then once you've done that, we can spin the arms around to the back there. And then the next step is to pull this cockpit out. So you can either grab onto the front there, or it's easier sometimes just to grab the back. And we can rotate that down. And then we need to swing these out, both of these pieces out and around 90 degrees. Now what you need to do, this was pretty tricky for me at the beginning. Actually, let's fold these down, makes it easier, get some more clearance. So you need to sort of push this way down and then swing it out and around and then move it up as far as you can. And it was really, really stiff at first for me, so it took me a little while. I had to actually go and check out another video to make sure I was doing it right. So you need to make sure this is far up as possible, or far out as possible, to make this clearance here nice and wide. So it's on like a double hinge here. So you need to do that for both of them. Out and around, and then pull it out, so out this way and then down. Nice bit of clearance. Now this falls off all the time. It's supposed to come off, again, a part of the combine mode. There's a little hinge here, a little hinge tab that just goes into the hole there, your socket. I'm going to keep this off for now because it just makes it easier. Let's put that in there, and then they stay out, and this needs to go back on. So I'm just going to tab that back into that socket there. Just makes it easier to close that hinge. These need to be rotated around 180 degrees, the spikes. And then you need to try and get these, both of these, up over the silver treads here. There's a bit of a tab on the top there, so it can be a bit difficult, and I also have to hold mine in here, otherwise it just pops out again and makes it really difficult. So it can be a little bit tricky. I think that's in as far as it's going to go, and it's pretty sturdy. Okay, so the next stage is that you twist this around so that the fists are facing forward, and then flip it down, and then keeping that joint still as you can, you rotate the arm up at the shoulder, and then there's a socket there and a tab just there that it needs to go into, and it can be a little bit of a fiddle, a little bit of a faff, to make sure that this joint here is completely in, otherwise those are not going to match up. And then push that in, and then the same again. So rotate round and then flip it down, and then rotate it up. Again, make sure this is in nice and solid, and then tab it in, hopefully. There we go. Okay, so then the next thing is to rotate the fists around like this. And then we have the front section all done. Okay, so next we're going to come down to the legs, and the first thing we need to do is swivel them around 180. Now the instructions say to swivel it around at the hip joint here. However, I find it's easier just to turn it at the waist. Much quicker and easier. I can't see any reason not to. If you know of a reason, then let me know down in the comments below, but I think it's far easier to do that way. And then we can fold down this heel, and what we need to do is we need to pull this out, these track section, and we're going to swing them out and up. And there's a hinge here that it's all fixed on. It's like a double hinge, so it can be a little bit tricky, but we'll give it a go. I think this one might already be partly out. There we go. So we pull it out and up, and then that heel needs to be back there, and then we press it back in again. I don't think that's quite in there, so we need to make sure it's all the way up. There we go, that should be good. And then the same with the other leg, and it should look something like that, and they are even, so that should be good. And then the heel rotates down, and then the toe and foot come down to meet it. There we go, that is as it should be, just there. And then the same here. There we go. And there we have it. And that is the vehicle mode for Alkaid, aka Helex. Now I guess he's supposed to be some sort of tank type thing because he's got the tracks. I'm really not a fan of this mode. I think it's really, really weak. It's certainly the weakest of the 3 modes. The other 2 modes being the combined mode and the robot mode. But you've got these guns here that swivel up and down, so they go all the way around 180 and then they go down slightly there, and that is about it. Just have a closer look. So you've got some sort of pink boosters at the back here, I guess they are. Got some ports on the side. And then the front, so you've got the, I guess they're supposed to be missiles or guns or something, just there. You've got some, again, some other pink sort of LED type lights there. You've got what are clearly just the fists at the front, perhaps some sort of battering device. Really tiny tracks. Again, I don't know what the what he looks like in IDW comics because I haven't seen him yet. But if this is what he looks like in there, then I mean, I guess that's fine. But I'm never going to be displaying him in this mode. He's either going to be alongside his DJD crew or in combined mode. So I'm just going to push him to the back and we'll have a look at the accessories he gets. So as I said, he does come with these open, excuse me, dropping them everywhere. They are tiny. Comes with these open hands, and then he comes with a little baggie of some extra hands. So there's 2 more pairs in there. And we have, again, so these are for the small arms at the front. So we have the gripping hands here. He doesn't come with any weapons or anything, but perhaps you've got some other weapons that you could use. And then some fisted hands, or just fist hands. And that is it for accessories, nothing else, but of course I guess his teammates are also sort of like his accessories. My overall opinion of this figure is that it's really, really nice looking. It's nice and chunky and solid, just like all of the Iron Factory products. His transformation is okay, but I probably won't be using it very often because I don't like this vehicle mode personally. I really do like the design of the robot mode. I like his size, and I like his proportions. I like his 4 arms, and I definitely recommend this figure. So I'm going to transform him back and we'll have a look at him alongside his other fellow DJD members. This is how he looks with his fellow Decepticons. We have Megatron on the left. These are all Iron Factory figures. Megatron on the left, and then Tarn, and then of course Helex, and Kaon and Voss here, or their versions of those figures. As you can see, he towers above all of them, even Megatron. Like I say, I think Tesserus is going to be around the same size roughly, and girth. He's pretty bulky as well. As you can see, he really looks amazing with all of these guys. I'm so excited about getting Tesserus and finally completing this group. I'm honestly undecided as to whether I will display them combined or whether I'll display them like this. I just think they look so cool individually. They look absolutely amazing. I'm so pleased with them. This is the first combiner figures that I've bought in a long, long time, and actually the first Transformers that I've bought in a long time. This is really my main collection now, I guess, the Iron Factory stuff. I will possibly be picking up some of the Magic Square figures. I really like the look of the Optimus Prime, and I know they're bringing out a Megatron as well, which looks really, really cool. More in line with the Masterpiece, the official Masterpiece design, I believe. So I'm really excited about those. But I love these Legend style figures. They look really, really great. So I'll do a quick measurement so we can see roughly how tall he is, because it's not always clear on camera. And he is to the top of his guns there, just under 6 inches, I would say, or around 6 inches. And sorry if that was off camera a little bit. You can't see very well in the camera anyway, to be honest. And then about 14.5 centimeters. So they're not particularly huge, these figures, but you'll know that. If you collect Legends figures, you'll know that already. So that's how they compare to each other. I think that's pretty good scale-wise. Let's just move these off to the side. And I'm going to bring in Hound there, so you can see he's even bigger than Hound. Probably nearly twice the height, I would say. So let's get rid of these. And talking of Masterpiece figures and Megatron himself, let's bring him in so we can see just how small he is compared to a Masterpiece. You can see he's probably only just around half his height, half Megatron's height. Obviously Megatron is a larger Masterpiece figure, I guess, in the scheme of things, but yeah, a lot smaller. But again, I really like this scale. I'm a really big fan. I just think they're much more fun to play with than the Masterpiece stuff. Megatron, as awesome as he is, pretty much stays in my cabinet just looking amazing. This guy I've had and been playing with loads, as well as this Megatron. This is actually probably my favourite Transformers figure that I own, I would say. If you haven't seen this figure before, he comes with loads of different parts to change out to make him look like the different types of Megatron. So the original cartoon, or 2 or 3 different versions of the IDW Megatron. So, but yeah, that's how they stack up, the 3 of them. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. My name is Josh and this is Black Line Toy Reviews. Please leave comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Check out my other videos and remember to subscribe to keep up to date with any future videos. And as always, remember, collect, play and be proud.